weather information. But look here, travel articles. Any publishers in the room? Travel guides, publishers? Okay, interesting. So travel articles here are an experiment that we started to do where we are looking around the web and we're crawling the web for interesting travel articles written by travel publishers, by local bloggers, by local guides, or even magazines that touch on relevant information that could be both static information like history of Bangkok, or like what's the latest, top 10 things to do in Bangkok, or like Christmas time in Bangkok, for example. I put AMP there because, and a picture of a spider because we crawl the web. But what AMP is basically what we call accelerated mobile pages. It's a format that we would strongly encourage all publishers to employ in your website to make it load faster. It pre-caches a lot of information, and we rank the AMP pages much higher than a standard web page that could take forever to load, that's loaded with a lot of information and photos and videos. AMP helps it to load much faster. Scrolling down further, you'll see travel videos here. We have an asset called YouTube, where a lot of people upload videos to YouTube. How many of you here have a channel on YouTube? Very good. Okay, well, so I don't have to say much more, but basically, continue to upload your videos onto YouTube. Make sure your channel is public. Make sure your videos are public. Tag it with as many things as possible. Destination, content, travel, videos, Bangkok, Thailand, Southeast Asia, everything you could possibly can, so that we'll crawl them and we'll pull them in here into travel videos as well. Again, see more while you're here based on actual visits, and we curate the longer itineraries here. So switching into the things to do category, so this is where a lot of information we take, it comes from Google Maps. So the ones that have star ratings are probably the ones that are single point of interest. Here's a temple, and here are all the user reviews about this temple. What we have started to do more recently is to go beyond just a single point of interest to looking at an area, a neighborhood, or a destination, or an experience. So Khao San wrote here, first stop for any backpacker in Thailand. First place I set foot on when I first came to Bangkok. This is kind of an experience, you have to go to Khao San Road. If you've never been there, you gotta feel the whole backpacker vibe. People have never seen a reflection in a month. And that's an experience that we're starting to include as part of things to do. So taking it from just sites to experiential. Okay, so switching gears to you. How do you come into the picture? How do you make sure that you can show up on Google in the multiple avenues for content on the web? We'll start with your .com. Okay, how many of you have your own website? Okay, a Facebook page? Instagram page? Google business profile? Okay, so the hands are starting to go down. Thank you for that. So I think your .com is, of course, the starting point. Users come to your website to find information about you. It's usually deemed the most legitimate location and source for your business information. And it's still important to do both SEO and SEM. SEO is search engine optimization, making sure that you rank highly within your organic results in Google search. You cannot pay for this. This is purely organic. It's based on a combination of factors like how fast does your page load? Have you marked up your website to tag important information within your website? How many other websites in the world point to your website? How many people who have seen your website have clicked on it? So a combination of all of these factors helps with your search engine optimization. So that's SEO. SEM is search engine marketing, which is where you would advertise. Some people earlier today may not believe in AdWords as much, but it's one way to make sure that your website gets top and above any of Google's results and any of the organic rankings as well. So if you don't want TripAdvisor to show first on top, please bid on your own keyword for AdWords. So that's your .com. So going beyond the .com, which is totally in your control, what else can you do that's within Google's environment? So that's Google My Business, which will be the bulk of what I'll talk about today. Google My Business is basically your business page on Google. It is how you curate the information that you are sharing with users on Google. It is how users find you on Google. And what assets does Google have? We have Google Maps, which is our foundation for any location-based search. But the Google Maps database feeds into Google Search. You saw the search results earlier where you find organic rankings. On the right side, you have the knowledge panel about the business. That comes from the Google Maps, Google My Business information. From Google Maps, we push it into the Google Travel homepage. On the first tab here, you'll see is trips. So that's where we'll start to draw a lot of these learnings and push it into the multiple Google platforms where any business can be found. Ultimately, our goal is to provide information to users at the right time when they are looking for your business or something related. What I didn't know earlier, and I just saw today, is that if I'm searching for a tour operator, there is a scrolling bar of all the other tour operators in your country that shows up as well. So I think to me that's new. But again, this is a testimony to how we are continuing to improve the search results. And if we detect that you are likely looking for a tour or tour operator, we want to give you the information that you could be looking for and alternatives to what you're looking for. And the middle point here is YouTube. YouTube is our site to capture all videos and information about destinations. So let's take a look at some of your listings. Trinetra Tours, are you here? Ah, there you are. Okay, Exotic Asia Holidays. Great. Very cool. So I decided to take a look at some of the websites or some of the listings of the people in this room. And so, very cool. Firstly, good news is that you show up on Google. That's a start. But how do we actually take this and make your business listing and your site more engaging? So here is where it starts to get interesting. Trinetra Tours, it still says here, claim this business. So you've not actually claimed ownership that says, this is my business, I own this, I'm gonna manage the information here. Right now, all the information here is crowdsourced. Users like, all of us in this room and myself can go in and say, hey, the opening hours are this time to this time. The address is wrong, let me add a new address. Oh, this phone number is wrong, let me add a new phone number. We do have a team that dedupes and makes sure that we curate the information before it goes public, but I would strongly encourage every one of us to claim the listing. Exotic Asia Holidays also own this business. You've not claimed the business as well. So, and we're missing information, business hours, there's no link to the website. So if users want to find out more information about your business, they have nowhere to click. We have a shortcut that says website, but when they click on the website, there's no link to go to. So I think these are small things about how to improve your presence on Google. Let's switch gears. Okay, Feast Thailand. Oh, there you are. Feast Thailand is great. Feast Thailand has firstly claimed the business and also started to interact with the users. So users are providing really great reviews on the business page. And the owner has responded and says, thank you very much, I'm so glad you loved the tour. I apologize for any delayed replies, but it builds engagement, it builds loyalty from the users, and if they feel like this owner has responded to me, I'm going to recommend this company to all my friends who are actually coming back to eat in Thailand. Hong Kong foodie tasting. Yeah, there you are. Great speech this morning, by the way. And Arigato Tours, Arigato Food Tours. Are you here? Yeah. Well, looking at this, it just makes us hungry, right? All the photos about food in Hong Kong, about food in Japan. And these are ways to also engage and entice your users to come to your destination, to come to your business, or to seek your services. You can't see the tabs here, but it says all photos and by owner. If you own a page and if you upload the photos, we will prioritize the photos that are owner uploaded over the photos that are user uploaded. And over a street view photo, which is probably your car park or the driveway or the back of your building. That's the worst photo you could possibly have as your icon. So upload your own photo, at least a photo of, Ha Gao will be nicer than a photo of your car park. Fat Tire Tours or Fat Tire Ventures, are you here? No, I think they were advertising quite a lot outside. So this is really interesting. So here is a tour operator in Vietnam, where in addition to 5-star rating on reviews and a fully claimed page and full information, there is also a call to action here. From the owner, here's an adventure tour, click here to book. So that is something you can do within your Google My Business page. Post information about your business, what's the latest events, latest packages, here are some tours, here are some things that you want to call to action and get users to go directly to your website and book, and not always have to go through OTAs, go through channel managers, and depend on multiple distributors to get your customers for you. This is how you can do it yourself. So I'll talk you through all of this. So if you have your laptops now or your mobile phones, I encourage you to take a look at your own business. How does your website look right now? Have you claimed your listing? If not, let's do it together. I decided to start by thinking about what is the oldest possible business that I know will never be online. This is my grandfather's business. So my grandfather started a jewelry shop in Singapore in, I don't know, the 60s or probably earlier. Probably 60s, I think. I have no idea. He's not here anymore, so my grandmother manages the business. She has never opened a computer in her life. So I know for sure this business has not been claimed. So 3 avenues where you can go and find a business. You can go to google.com/business. That is the Google My Business page. Type in your business name. If it's found, great. If it's not found, this is the time to input it. Make sure that you find the location, you add the address, you add a phone number. So that's one. The other one is google.com. When you do a google.com search, on the right side, this is what we call the knowledge panel. That should include information about your business. This is where you can own this business, !, you click through here, or add a website. That's just more to supplement information. The third one is Google Maps. So if you open google.com/maps or open your Google Maps app, you can also find the same business. Take a look at this. This is the car park of the back of my grandfather's shop. So that's not the kind of picture I want. I want like glittering images of like jewels and bracelets and stuff, not a row of cars in the back of a block. So after I claim this business, this is really what I need to improve. Photos, and what is the first photo that shows up when you search for this business. So if you find a business, go ahead and click next, or click claim this business or own this business. And this is the next step. You have to choose the category for your business, the best category that represents your business. So yesterday I got called by a friend of mine who runs a wakeboard boat, and he operates a business in a river in Singapore. And he said, I've 5-star ratings on my reviews. I've filled in my business page. I've claimed it. I've put posts. I've given like discounts off my boat rentals, but I cannot find it when I search for the term wakeboarding. It's because he put a category adventure. And so no matter how much we search for wakeboarding, he kept showing up. All his competitors would show up, and he would not show up as a wakeboard operator because he put his business category as adventure. And so choose the closest category for you, and try to make sure that it aligns with what your business actually represents. Making sure you have the right phone number, your updated website. If you don't have a website, I think Google can offer you a free website as well. So last step, verify. So this is the one that takes a little bit more time. So after you put in all that, how do I know that you're not a competitor trying to screw with your business page? So we need to verify your business. You can verify by 2 ways. One is somebody from Google will call you, but that also means you need to sit by your phone and wait for that call that could happen now or at any time in the near future, or ask for a postcard. And so actually on the 18th, I requested send a postcard, and on the 20th I received it. So actually that was pretty quick. The postcard came with a verification code, and so the next step here is to click on verify and then input a code. It's kind of like a 2-factor authentication process. So go ahead, fill in the verification code, and what you get to is now this page. This is not verified yet, so it's still pending verification. Once you get a postcard, please fill it in. But otherwise, this is where you can start to manage a lot of the information about your business. Adding hours, description, add your logo, uploading photos, replying to reviews, posting. These are all things that you can do. And of course, most importantly, create an ad. Make sure that you post ads you post an ad to make sure your website shows up at the top of SEM. So here's the 3 segments. Clicking through on photos allows you to upload photos. After verifying, the owner can then post photos here, and it will be basically uploaded by owner as opposed to like by customer or anybody else. Reviews, this is where somebody left a review or somebody actually rated it but didn't write a review, but you can actually reply. So reply, have a reply, and we'll take an example from here about how much more engaging it is when the business owner has replied to the reviews of the users. And finally, post. So this is where you can take charge of your content. Post anything about your product and upcoming event. Here's a discount off a tour if you click from here. Here are the latest tours that are happening in the next few weeks. So product, what's new, event offers. Post it here. You can set the start time, end date, and users should be able to find it when they see your business listing. Destination images. So this is where tourism boards are also quite interested in working with us on, which is, in addition to you being a business owner, a lot of us represent a destination or represent a country and want to promote the best photos, the best experiences, the best knowledge about my city, my beach, my country. Any one of us can go ahead and go in here and post photos. So in this case, Khao San Road is not really owned by anybody because it's an area, but any of us can go in and post a nice photo that we have that of the street scene at night on Khao San Road. For tourism boards as well, one of the things that we tell tourism boards to do is to encourage all the businesses in the country to go claim the listing, upload photos, and do all of the above that I just said. But what we can additionally do is if we can give trusted verifier status to tourism boards such that we can deem them as a reliable source of knowing whether or not there are businesses that exist in their country or not. And they can actually do the verification process on behalf of these businesses without having to wait for a postcard coming from Google. So that could be a quicker way to do a scalable approach to claiming and curating the business listings and the photos across all the locations and destinations in the country. We know that tourism boards are also have a large repository of photos of areas like beaches that are not even claimed by anybody. So we encourage them to go ahead and upload photos where relevant. And videos. Yes.
I have a question like, example, like everyone can rate your business on Google, isn't it? So if someone hate you and they put a lot of rating, like for example, last year in Vietnam they have one influencer. He went to a hotel and the hotel behaved very bad, and it's on YouTube. And then all his fans rate us hotel like 2,000 one-star review. One star, yes. And it's there with someone business.
Wow.
So do Google have anything that like someone have to really like have the real experience?
Okay.
And the second question is like the way you reply the review. So should we have the key content like keyword on our reply on someone's review?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question here, for those who couldn't hear, is about reviews. If 2,000 people come and give you a bad review because some video of your business went viral and people didn't like you anymore, the short answer is no, you cannot delete user reviews. I think a review system is robust because people are allowed to independently provide their reviews. So unfortunately, there's no way to delete reviews, especially delete bad reviews. The only thing you can do is reply to the reviews in the most engaging way or explain your business position. or explain some situation. And so you can reply to the reviews, but you cannot delete them. So that's the short answer, unfortunately. Yes?
I'm lucky that I haven't had this situation, but I know other operators that have, whether it's tours or restaurants or whatever else, that competition coming in and
Yeah.
some fake reviews that are terrible. How does Google deal with that? Because it could be detrimental to a small business
Yeah.
and quite malicious.
Yeah.
Also, there are times when people just give 1 star and there is no review, and you can look at the face of the person who's putting the review, and
Yeah.
you know this is not your customer. He is just randomly, people just end up putting so many stars and just to add reviews to themselves, right? And there's no way to respond. I mean, he hasn't written any review. What should I respond back? For
What?
1 star.
I guess this all goes into like how do you manage your social presence online, which this talk is not a part of. But I think the best thing you can do is like kind of respond and say that, oh, thank you for your rating. Can you explain more about your review or something like that? Ask for the feedback. Again, you cannot delete the reviews, but what you can do is encourage.
Affects the
Yeah.
overall
Delete
rating.
Yeah, it does.
Uh,
You can delete
There
the
could
page.
be like 10 genuine reviews and 4 just 1 or 2 star reviews without any actual reviews written.
Yeah.
The overall rating would go down.
Yeah, so if you can encourage, the more recent customers to put in better reviews, stronger reviews, write something, engage them, or I don't know. I've seen like write a review about my restaurant and you get a free ice cream or something like that. People go in and do that for the free ice cream, and these are ways to I would say, okay, it's like your GPA, right? You got a bad score on one test. You have to basically make it back by scoring really high on all your other tests. You can't delete that score from one test.
No.
All you can do is dilute it.
Policies on owners, the Google is not currently planning to release
Yeah,
fake reviews.
exactly. I mean, if it's, I don't know about, okay.
And
what-
TripAdvisor has an option
This is
where
the main problem right now.
Yeah.
flag a review and they don't
Okay.
actually respond to it or delete it if they genuinely find it.
Okay, no, that's good feedback.
The reason I ask that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
The reason I ask you that is because Google does police bad behaviour
Mhm.
online in some
Yeah.
ways. So we've seen lots of different ways where
Yeah.
we can't manipulate a
Mm.
website. So you guys are always looking for authentic content, that's fantastic. So we try to stuff websites with, with all the keywords and whatever else, and
Yeah.
you guys took care of that, all good. But this idea of malicious fake reviews, or just malicious reviews that aren't fake but a competitor trying
Yeah.
to get around it, like, how do you police that?
Yeah.
Surely you guys are smart enough.
Right now, I think again, we are the platform. I take the point that there could be ways to maybe police fake reviews. Malicious, I'm not so sure because there's still an opinion. But if a review system is robust enough, it should be an aggregate of all opinions. So I do take the feedback. Let me go back and let the team know to see if there's any avenues at all that we could be looking at, take down of fake reviews or take down of fake content. I think that's the direction Google is going in general. I don't know if there's an avenue to delete a review right now, but
At least there should be an option to at least not let the review get posted if they're not writing anything.
Yeah.
Just putting a star and there's nothing you can even respond back to.
yeah,
I mean,
There-
if somebody's not written anything, what would you respond back?
yeah, that's true. There is a little button at the bottom of the page that says not here, but I don't know if you see it. It may not be the best place to show it, but there is something that says like report a problem. I don't know if a bad review is enough of a problem to be reported, but there is a tiny little icon at the bottom of your business page that says report a problem. So if it really becomes a problem and there's some malicious content or malicious reviews around it, it could be reported, but we would have to strike a balance between what's fake and what's just a poor opinion of the business.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
always work.
Yeah.
Report. It can
Yeah.
sometimes take up to a few months in
Yeah.
order to get access to this one. I don't know if Google is able to filter that one out. But
Yeah.
I agree with the gentleman right over here. It's just the amount of single star ratings and no
Yeah.
comments. And we respond to every
Mm.
single one of them.
Yeah.
But it's like they don't care.
Yeah.
Well, other ones have that dispute function where we can
Okay.
put it on.
No, that's
Also,
a
in terms of tour of experiences, we end up having multiple categories. A restaurant will just have a category of food.
Yeah.
You were telling about that boat
Yeah.
tour guy, so you
Yeah.
know, he probably has just boat tours, which he quoted that as well. But for us, it would be airport transfers and walking tours and food tours. So you know, there are multiple categories. I don't think so. There's an option to have multiple categories.
Not within the business category,
Yeah.
but I think in your business description, you can actually include a larger description that includes all the different
But in
categories.
terms of search, it would affect what is the primary category that we
Yeah,
are
exactly. It does affect primary category. Yeah. So take your feedback on reviews. Nothing I can do right now, but I'll provide that back to the team. The other way that we are helping to make the reviews system a little bit more robust is we also have reviews that we sometimes show up from other OTs as well. So if you've seen a hotel, you have Google user reviews, but you also have reviews from TripAdvisor, Hotels.com, Booking.com, Expedia.com. So at least it provides a little bit more of a balanced approach to see what users are saying across all platforms than just Google itself. So that's one step to kind of helping to make it more robust.
So is there an option for us to put in a wider code or media code so that our reviews from those channels also come in?
Not right now. That's not possible because we actually need a contract with each of these guys so that they allow us to use their content. Yeah. So switching gears to your website. So I was talking a lot about you managing your presence on Google itself, and now I want to talk to you a little bit about your website and how do you improve the performance on your website. So speed matters. I mean, how many times have we clicked through a link and waited and then just close the browser altogether? It happens a lot more than we think. Majority of us, in fact, would shut the page if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. And so I think it's important to make sure your website loads. But also, here's our biggest problem. Now apps are taking over the world, and in the mobile space, do you really want to invest in building an app and then having to market this app to users, or to build a really good mobile website, but then realizing that users don't stay as long on your website? So this is the dilemma for all of us, even at Google as well. Do we prioritize the reach of a mobile website, or do we prioritize the engagement of an app? And if you're trying to build an app, then you really have to spend a lot of marketing dollars to get users to download the app. And the question is, do they return to the app after opening it for the first time? And so this is where Progressive Web Apps is a format that brings together the best of the web and the best of apps. It basically is a mobile website, but the entire experience within the mobile website looks like an app interface. And so the example here is basically Twitter. Twitter was one of the early users of PWA, where the whole experience in the mobile site resembles the experience on the app. So whether or not you've downloaded the app or you're just going to the site on your mobile browser, you should have the same experience, you should have the same speed. It works fast on slow networks, especially in our part of the world. Uses much less data to load, and also is optimized for smartphones. So PWA is the first format that you should definitely consider as you are building out your mobile site. Make sure it loads fast and make sure users can access it on all platforms. The second thing here is AMP. So I spoke earlier, accelerated mobile pages. So that's a way to structure your mobile page such that it loads faster, and it's also pre-cached in a lot of the browsers so that it uses much less data and is a lot more engaging and just comes through a lot more quickly. News sites are the worst, right? Because they're so content heavy, they're so pictures heavy, and to load a news site, it just takes forever and you probably just want to abandon it. So news publishers were actually our first target publishers to promote the AMP format. This is an open source. Go ahead to the article below. I'm sure they'll send you the slides because I've included a lot of links below on how-tos. So this is one way to improve the format of the website, improve the speed of loading, and then what happens is that it improves your SEO. So AMP websites, they get crawled faster, they get pulled earlier, you get ranked higher in news carousels and as well as organic rankings or within travel articles. Confirmation email. So most of you are tour operators, business owners. at some point, or at least your biggest goal is to drive bookings. And when you drive bookings, you will send a confirmation email to all your users' mailboxes. If they're on Gmail, the best thing you can do is to mark up the confirmation emails. We have a format linked below for any flight reservation, hotel reservation, car rental, restaurant booking, entrance tickets, activities tickets. Make sure you mark up the emails, because when Google crawls the Gmail inboxes for confirmation emails, we see that this is a reservation. We pull that reservation into trips, and that's where users will see the reservations come through. So it goes from your Gmail account into the Google Travel page. So over here, you can do it in a few ways. One is you go into google.com/travel. You go to the trips tab, and this is where upcoming trips. My trip to Bangkok is here because I've sent my flight reservation to my Gmail account. You can also go into Google search and search for my trips, my flight, my hotel, and you'll be able to see my trip coming up and within Google search itself. Most importantly, it says only you can see these results, so nobody else can see your reservations but yourself. And when you click through on each of these trips, it opens up my itinerary here. So it has my flight, it has my so it parsed Anantara strangely. So I'm thinking that Anantara it parsed cruises as opposed to Riverside Hotel, which is kind of interesting. So something to do with the way that they've marked up their email confirmation as well. Restaurant reservation and a flight back. And so all of this is our way of being able to string together an itinerary of bookings for each user. And so if you have if you promote tours, activities, tickets, go ahead and mark this up so that it can be found when users book with you. Yes?
All my confirmation emails are done through third-party software.
Mm.
Is it common that they would mark up? Or is it?
Well, you have to let them know. Just send them the link and make sure that they do it to all their confirmation emails.
No worries.
Yeah. Yeah, and finally, this is only live in a few countries. I think Australia is one of them, where events can be marked up as well. Earlier I spoke about events to do with your business. So this is an event to do with a destination or a web page. So if you have a whole web page that says like, here are all the things happening in Bangkok this weekend, here's one way to be able to mark up the website such that Google can crawl the website and extract the events, and it shows up first on top of the Google search page before all the organic results. So users don't have to click through to your website to see all the events. The events are automatically parsed and shows up as an answer in Google. And finally, somebody asked about Reserve with Google. So this is what Reserve with Google looks like. Reserve with Google is run by the Google Maps team. The whole idea here was to be able to drive actions within Google Maps. So Google Maps, as I mentioned, is the foundation of all location-based businesses and POIs and everything that's a location on Google. It started by driving actions for, let's say, dining reservations. So working with OpenTable to make sure that if you search for a restaurant, I can also figure out how to make a reservation for this restaurant here. It moved into beauty and wellness. So here's a yoga studio. I want to book a vinyasa yoga at this studio. Or here's a hair salon. I want to do cut and color with this stylist at this price. So it enables bookings through the Reserve with Google channel, where our worlds collide where they come together between Google Maps and Google Travel is when they're starting to look at things to do. So events, tours and activities, and attractions are the three key categories that have started to expand the Reserve with Google interface into. So the idea here is that to be able to drive bookability. So we saw this earlier in the theater session, that if you search for some businesses, you should be able to buy tickets here. And this is how we've worked together with mostly reservation systems as well as OTAs to drive scalability in terms of access to as many products and as many businesses as possible. So if you are an individual operator, it would be best to work with one of the existing partners that we are already integrated with so that your business and your products are also connected to Google through one of these providers. you can go to google.com/map/reserve, and a list of partners are actually listed there. So the likes of Resd, Fair Harbor are some of our partners who are bringing on board a lot of the inventory from individual operators here. So the summary here is basically, you can take charge of your presence on Google. Your website is important in how users find you. Google My Business is important in how users find you on Google interfaces. And then to drive bookings, you can do it on your Google My Business site, or you can do it through one of these distributors, aggregators, REST systems, OTAs, to get them to bring or represent your products on Google through the likes of Reserve with Google and also Touringbird. So,
Yep.
so that's the end of my session. Carry on.
For us to directly integrate with Reserve?
Not directly. So right now, I think, okay, if you look at the way Google is integrating, we try to do as few integrations as possible to connect us to as much inventory as possible. So we will not, at this stage,